Ba-da-da-da-da-da. And it looks like everything is online. Salutations, class, and welcome back. We're doing Terraria again, which I think we've actually not done for about 3 weeks now. It's approximately the 4th week anniversary of our first Terraria stream, which I'm still going to try to figure out what we're doing tonight. Professor's a little sleepy, so I might cut this one off at around 2 hours, but I hope you can have a nice, relaxing Saturday night otherwise. Server is already up and open. I should be online. Correct. I am online on Steam, so I should be able to be joined by anyone who is also currently playing Terraria. And I did make sure to open up Terraria 2nd, so that does show up as the game I am playing. Funny how Steam has trouble handling multiple games being played at once. Welcome, Kayla, James, both of you. Seems we don't have platforms going that far. Is it time for a rope? Oh dear. There we go. I'm going to need a bit more light in here. Ah, someone did start putting lights and such down here. I think I might want to go ahead and light it up a little bit more. Just out of my own unfamiliarity. Seems someone has been having fun. And I'm going to have to relearn all my controls once more. Or, you know, fail the platforming challenge so quickly. Just barely. Okay, so that isn't enough. Very well then. Wrong button. Give me that back. And we'll put some more ropes up here. There we go. Makes it quite a bit easier to head back up now. I'll take a moment to try to remember where I was, what I was doing, and how we move forward. So, last we did fight the Skeletron, so I think that's about how far along we are in terms of our equipment and the bosses we fought. I would like to take a look for any more of the Sky Islands, or if there's better stuff to be digging for underground. Also, might want to take a trip right back to the jungle and see what other little sets of equipment we can find. As always, I do appreciate some guidance, where I spend a lot of my other streams teaching y'all about other various little bits of trivia or game mechanics. This, I think, is a wonderful opportunity for my class to teach me about this game, rather than me spending the entire time aimlessly looking up wiki guides. The rocket boots make this so much easier. And they're stylish to boot. No pun intended. Pun very intended. There's our desert. Ah, the background landscape just looks so wonderful. Could you imagine if we had those kinds of structures generating in Minecraft? I have messed with some alternative terrain generators in that game, and with the new update out, I would be very interested in playing that too. Who knows? I might just force that as... You know what? I'll leave that on as a Saturday stream option for next weekend. As much as I do love Terraria, I do have a very special place in my heart for Minecraft. The extra dimension means a lot more to me, although these are essentially two very different games. Or I could use the mace, that might even be stronger. 36 melee damage versus 21 magic damage. I did take about an hour earlier this week to try to mess with the new Minecraft update myself. Mostly starting out new just doesn't hold quite the wonder as it does from before. Although I have gotten to the point where I don't really play that game solo anymore. I'm mostly interested in trying to do it multiplayer. If we do a stream here on this channel, I haven't yet made my decision if I'm going to open up a server for it or just play solo. I have been talking to a couple of viewers off stream and they have suggested the idea of, and here we go, there we go. They have suggested the idea of doing a server there. Although I might try to look for if there's any of my other VTuber friends that are currently hosting their own server at the time. Was that guy there before? I forget what they're called. The little grabby, pinchy vine guys. Ooh, that is useful. Snatcher. I knew it was like creeper or crawler or something like that. That was easy. Come on. Fine. I'll give him a little bit of the pew-pew instead. Now, this cave might go down far enough for us to make use of it. I did hear that some of the equipment we would be looking for in the jungle is probably going to be a lot deeper. Blaze Warrior, welcome. So glad to see you again. I hope you've had a wonderful Saturday so far. Professor's a little bit sleepy, so we'll be playing something relaxed with Terraria here. Connection is bad as usual, that's what I was worried about. Might be mostly a solo playthrough. This could be a very light stream, which would be a bit more responsible of Professor with having such a dense streaming schedule this week. One of these days, I'll grow accustomed to doing more than 5 at a time, although I think one issue with that is it's a little taxing trying to figure out a schedule earlier in the week. I need to look at a lot of my other coworkers who stream, well, every day. Some of them have been keeping up a streak going for a long time. Maybe there's a secret. Maybe I am working myself a bit too hard, putting too much effort into it. After all, I do spend a lot of time trying to think about thumbnails, which might not even be optimized for the algorithm. In retrospect, there's a couple of them that I have looked at, and they might not be as eye-catching as I'd hoped they would be. Angry Climbing Claws allows the ability to slide down walls, improved ability if combined with shoe spikes. Did we have... oh, whoops. Hasty Band of Star Power. Rocket Boots. Horseshoe. Shackle, which does the least amount for us. Where are those claws? Or did I not actually loot them? There we go. Interesting. Have you ever played League of Legends? I have twice, and I am sorry to disappoint you, but I will never be doing League of Legends content on this channel. I have a very special disinterest in that game fundamentally. If I wanted to play the same match over and over again with a very toxic community on the same map over and over again, I'd just play fighting games. Always enjoyed the thumbnails. I have too! I'm surprised just how fun they are to make in retrospect. I'm hoping one day I might do a little bit better about making them more eye-catching. Or maybe the algorithm is just making me not visible in the first place. I have a fairly average click-through rate, so maybe I'm not doing the clickbait as strongly as I should. They might be a bit more striking to someone who's already familiar with my content. The one for the Guilty Gear Strive tournament yesterday was really fun. Doodling the gold Lewis glasses on my avatar. Although I think there's a couple more tricks I do need to pick up. Maybe look over and over again at the images in comparison to other YouTube thumbnails. Do a lot more research and experimentation. See what sort of tropes I can apply. Preferably without you. Ooh, what the heck was that? Was a rock or something falling on us? That hurt. What was my healing potion button? That's not it. I'll do that until I remember what button I should. Oh. Well, there's another guy there, and he has much farther reach. The sound of the water and the frogs is so soothing. A lot of these games do put a lot of effort into their environmental sound effects, so on and so forth, which I always look forward to. A number of mod packs I've actually played in Minecraft do the same thing. Changing according to the environment as well makes it very comforting. I have a particular affinity towards Minecraft's rain sound effects, which do change if you are inside of a building. Feels incredibly cozy hearing the pitter-patter of the rain on the rooftop. You can also press H to heal if you have potions on you. One day I'll remember all these buttons. Chances are I'm going to have to try to remember all of these the next time we start. What's this now? Platinum. That's a little bit rarer. I don't think it's necessary or more important than any of the other substances we have, but I'm going to steal as much stuff as I can. You want to try to find someone who can help you get better with your fighting game improvements. There's not really anyone where you live that play fighting games. I can't remember, Blaze Warrior. Were you the fella that also had poor internet? You might just have to spend some time labbing instead. I had to grow up in that exact situation of having poor internet and no one around me who enjoyed playing fighting games for me to practice against. Yeah. I'm very sorry to say that you might not have a very lucky option there. What would be good is getting in a lot of lab time. At least until you have the opportunity to move somewhere where you have more people to fight. There's a torch down there so we can see. What the hell is... Hold on, I think my cat is being rambunctious in the kitchen. I will be responsible and set up a barrier around myself, making sure that I don't get attacked. There's no worms in this part of the map, are there? I'll have to go check on that. I think my cat is being destructive in the kitchen. I'll return in a moment. Indeedy do. It turns out the little Scrunko himself was knocking stuff over, but nothing's broken. He just knocked a charging cable off of its shelf. Nothing damaging or permanent. There's some of the vines we've been looking for. And we're already once again full on our inventory. Perhaps a little irresponsible of me to be out here so soon. I think we can get rid of... Looks like you won't be joining this time around, so you'll be messing around with Blender! 3D software, not the kitchen appliance. I spent about a month in summer of 2019 trying to learn Blender myself. Can't remember why I stopped, but that is one of the skills I want to pick up at some point. Along with that and messing around in VRoid Studio, I would like to be able to create my own 3D model, and perhaps sometime my own 2D model. Both of those will require a bit more investment of my time. I'll slowly build up to that ability. Did I have glow sticks? Could have sworn I did. Perhaps I put them up. What have you got? Silver instead. More vines growing back, huh? Or did I miss them the first time around? I am curious, James. Is there something you're working on in Blender? Just the fundamentals of modeling that you're trying to practice, or are you already getting on to doing something specific? I was once just trying to make a generic character model to bridge stuff off of. I have mentioned dead cells before, which, if I recall correctly, or if I've assumed correctly, rotoscopes 3D models for most of their characters. Also, very important. The next Dead Cells expansion is coming out sometime in January, I believe. I will need to double check that. We're probably going to be doing a lot of Dead Cells as that time shows up. So, Blaze Warrior, in the perspective of fighting games, while you don't have anyone to practice against, I would recommend labbing some good combos and trying to learn, if you have a good enough internet to at least watch streamers, possibly look at analytic videos for other characters, see what their usual game plans are and how you can fight against it. It might not be very good to practice against the AI too much, as the AI in most games will have a lot of bad habits you don't want to pick up fighting them. Usually they have conditioned me to be incredibly aggressive, as they don't punish that nearly as much as real players would. A lot of smarter players that you come against fighting will know how to punish any of your bad decisions that you make just attacking over and over again. James, doing random things, but you also tinker with a model based of a character of yours called Shybot. Name sounds familiar. I think that was what you had on your Steam previously, right? That was exactly what I was eventually trying to get to. I was trying to do a generic base for a model that I could start building other stuff off of. And like with how Dead Cells handles its graphics, I was thinking about doing rotoscoping of 3D models or something like that. It's sort of cheating. Might make it a bit easier for me to animate a lot of frames as opposed to doing it two-dimensionally. When it comes to a fighting game with all the different frames that you need, it might be easier to do it 3D models of it overall. With the smaller indie games like this that you can get away with smaller amounts of pixels, it's much easier to just do it 2D from the beginning. But graphics are very, very important in fighting games. Your animations need to be incredibly readable, or, in the case of a few of them, deceptively unreadable. The way it looks in the fighting game plays up very much into how it feels. And with my interest in eventually developing fighting games specifically, that's something I'm going to have to learn about. Even if I am not the head graphic designer, knowledge of how the frame data interacts with the animations is going to be incredibly important for developing said fighting games. We can get rid of a little bit of dirt. What the heck is that noise? Is that a frog? Or some other beast far more vicious? Ancient cobalt breastplate. Roughly comparable. Curious. Now what's this little potion do? Spelunker potion. Shows the location of treasure and ore. Well, might as well clear out our inventory while we're already here. Ah! Is that gold? If I remember, gold was one of the higher steps on our equipment list. Magic mirror, is that an infinite use recall potion? Blaze Warrior was wanting to make your own fighting game. It is very important to either get friends that have knowledge of the graphical aspect of it, or practice that yourself. Woe Guy arrives, with his own namesake saying woe. Welcome. And a woe to you too. Salamander, that's what's making those bizarre noises. He's gonna breathe fire on me, ain't he? Have you ever heard of Mugen, Blaze Warrior? That's what I've done for a lot of my fighting game development practice so far. I have seen the saying of woe, woe indeed. And woe upon those who do not know the woe of woe. Coffee. Most recently, you've been trying and failing to learn rigging. I think that's actually the hardest part. Once I did have a template skeleton that I was going to be using when I was working on 3D modeling, and that seemed intuitive to me so far. Then I got to the part where I had to start doing weight painting, and that... Oh goodness, does that take forever? It's a mess. Now there shall be a reward to claim. I'm intrigued. Do tell me. Stepping stools, huh? Interesting. Weight painting is not fun. I have one a follow for noticing your woe. Well, thank you. Woe Guy, Captain of Woe, Understanding of Woe. Man-eater, interesting. So that's a step up from the Snatchers. Come on, get over here. And start swinging. Alright, guess he's not getting any closer now. So, do they all just glow yellow, or are these actual sources of potential gold ore down here? I don't yet recognize what all their pixely appearances should be. Where are your manners, Professor? Let you introduce yourself. Go ahead. I always enjoy getting a perspective on every one of my students. Ooh, traveling merchant. You know, I'm probably finding some good stuff down here, but it would be a good chance to take a trip back. Ah, function then it seems. We do have a storage room started up here. And nothing placed in it yet. I will go ahead and stack to nearby chests. I did make my residence inside of the tree over here. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Leviathan's gonna kill me. For such wanton destruction of bunnies. Actually, I didn't get to continue on that tangent. Blaze Warrior, have you ever messed around with Mugen? I've been thinking about doing a stream for that one of these days. Mugen is a custom fighting game engine, and it gives you a lot of tools to work with. One of my personal favorites, and in fact something I've done a lot of development with in the past. Whoa Guy, the guy who says whoa. A 3D artist and voice actor. Pleasure to be the new student, Mr. Professor. You are always welcome in my class. A pleasure to meet you. Do tell me about your 3D art as well. On the subject of Mugen, I've considered doing tutorials for that in the past, considering that seems to be something I have a forte for in terms of development. A lot of people have taken my advice on how to properly do stuff in Mugen, and it is very reminiscent of the times that I spent modding Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Use Source Filmmaker. Ooh! Not just art, but animation specifically. That is an all-time favorite of mine. Anything you would like to show? Still learning 3D modeling. You know, I do want to get back to that. I might go ahead and give it a start with rigging my own V-Roid model sometime in the future. I think that's enough inventory space. We got rid of the recall potions, right? Yeah, no idea what we're using the amethysts for, so I'll just toss those up. Not going into the dungeon for now, although we could. Might want a little bit of better gear first. Torches are fine, should have stacked those together way earlier. I'll keep the space gun until it is obsolete just because I enjoy my pew-pew of sciencey weapons. And I'll figure out somewhere to put that sharpening station down. We don't have very much space up here, do we? I'll go the next floor downward. Oh, you... Ugh. Gnata Gnelf. Gnata Gnud time dealing with those guys. Ah! Lovely. Have you considered a Discord server? That's right! I never posted the link on my Twitch, did I? My apologies. I monitor my Twitch channel a lot less than I do my YouTube channel. I have all of my... Oh, wait, hold on. Before that audio starts playing, I might as well mute my own stream in my internet tab. I should update that. Ah, I don't have that posted on my social. Grant me a moment real quick. I'll do that after the stream. I will, however, go ahead and snatch that link for you right now. It should be in the description here, right? There it is. We do have a currently low budget and still work in progress Discord server that I suppose I'll start getting more focused on the development there. I did install a bot, but I haven't yet messed with much of the roles. We do make votes for Saturday streams. I've been doing that for about a month now, and it seems everyone has a very high preference for Terraria, hence us doing Terraria on this night. I will be appending that to my Twitch since, I haven't updated my Twitch channel in a while. I'll need to be doing that. Winter is a wonderful time in which my work is usually slower, so I should have more time to get other little panels, bits, and doohickeys installed. Take a look in there. Not much going on in the Discord server yet. I do always post my stream links there. You're an ex-YouTuber who just posted jokes, not art, so you quit it. I can understand the burnout with this. I've thought about trying to do little sketches, VTuber, little bits of nonsense. So far, I've only been uploading streams. I want to focus more on my YouTube channel in the future, as I plan on doing a lot more miscellaneous content left and right. Which... I'm still looking for ideas, when I think about it. Although most people will just place their rigging in front of a green screen and say whatever little nonsense comes to their minds. Perhaps a good science meme or two would be appropriate of my character. After all, I've had a number of people request the ever so popular, well, not necessarily that it's a scientist thing, but a teacher thing of the whole The bell does not dismiss you. I dismiss you. Which was demanded a couple of times. Hopefully for more benign and humorous reasons. I know some people would appreciate that a lot more than they would deserve. I know the entirety of the Steam Hands bit. Maybe I should just do that. That would also provide a little bit of practice for video editing. Pretty easy and straightforward to do. Steamed hams, but it's just Xander talking to Xander. I can hear it now. Ah, Professor Turing, welcome. I hope you're prepared for an unforgettable luncheon. I'll need to work on my Skinner impression. I can do a pretty good one for Skinner, but for Chalmers, I think I might need to do a little bit of work. Back to the jungle again, now that we have a mostly empty inventory. Ah, right, we're heading down there. Good thing I play. Oh, great. Yeah. There's sort of an issue of trying to pay attention both to the chat and my stream at the same time, with a pixel game having not much happening in very small pixely sections of the screen. A bit hard for me to notice while I'm looking while I'm looking in two places at once. Especially difficult for me to hit those darn bats. What a colorful assortment of jelly boys. How adorable. Going to try not being upset when it comes to wanting to be the best at a fighting game. It's... In terms of fighting games, the biggest measure is mostly how you're able to read other people. So the parts that you might want to be focusing on, you can write a list of what to add to it. I'm always looking for suggestions. We do have a suggestions channel that is specifically for the server and any of the social media related things. The stream suggestions is specifically for our Saturday votes. Please keep those separate. I've just been a little busy lately, so I haven't focused too much on trying to get that stuff prepared. November has been a very, very slow month for me as well, on the streaming side of things. I have had a lot more followers show up on Twitch, but most of those are mutual follows from other Twitter fighting game VTubers that I've interacted with. On the subject of being good at fighting games, Blaze Warrior, the most important skill that separates the best players from the good players is how well you can read your opponent. And that's not a skill you can practice on your own. Evid Author, welcome. Are you going to try King of Fighters 15 when that comes out? That is going to be my next biggest focus. I mean, Strive and Guilty Gear in general will always be my number one. But when King of Fighters 15 comes out, I think I'm going to want to focus on that one a lot more than the middling amount of time I've spent trying to focus on Melty Blood, and essentially even less interest that I have for Nicktoons Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I keep calling it Nicktoons, but that's not the name at all. I do want to do more Melty Blood, but I feel like that's going to take a much longer time to get labbing for me to be competent at. Especially since it's an anime fighter that I'd have to be doing on stream. With me paying attention to multiple things at once, well, it's very difficult to keep up an active stream while talking and playing optimally as well. Got to get up extra early tomorrow. Bye everyone, and good night to you, Kayla. I hope you sleep well. And thank you for your arrival, well guy. Your attendance is always beloved. And you are welcome here anytime. If you are looking for VODs in the future, I do have the YouTube channel linked on my Twitch, which is where you can find every single stream made. I'm actually simulcasting to YouTube and Twitch most of the time. Haven't yet made a decision if there's one or the other that I want to stick with. I hope you have a very good night. I will like to check out those 3D animations of yours sometime. There's a lot of animators and artists that show up on these channels. There must be a secret. If I want to become good at art, I'll just have to watch more streamers, huh? Trying your best to be a good person to people so you want to be the best person you can be. That is as noble of a goal as any, and one that I will look to try to teach in the future. I think the thing that you have the most power over in this world is essentially yourself. Not necessarily your financial situation, but your outlook, your self-image, a number of things. Working on having a good self-esteem is one of the most noble pursuits I can imagine. This is random, but okay, is that... I think that's 11. I should start keeping count. I think that's number 11. Or is it number 12? I'm gonna have to keep account of every time the voice gets complimented. Thank you, Avid Author. Such the confident morale boost, that one. Very frequent that people do compliment my voice. I am happy to be soothing and pleasant to listen to. It's the double whammy. Even if you aren't watching, are you at least listening? I know a number of my viewers are animators who will work with me in the background. And hopefully I might reach the point which I have a decent number of viewers, and even if they are not immediately paying attention to the content of the stream, having the familiarity of a soothing and authoritative voice telling you everything's going to be okay should help someone focus. Thank you, Avid Author. Thank you very much. That's been the biggest confidence booster in every single one of my streams so far. Haha, you have let yourself out in the open. Do I get vines from those guys? I know I gotta look for vines and thorns. I'm spending way too long trying to figure out how to get down here. Is it all just water? Ah, there's a little bit of open oxygen over here. Come on. Ah, so there are worms in this part of the map. Honestly, considering having my stream in the background while you... Ooh, fairy. Guide me, oh wise one. You know, as I start building more of a tolerance and understanding, being more accommodated to my streams, I've considered doing a lot more stuff, maybe even reading audiobooks. That would be interesting. Or, of course, having more just chatting streams in the future, but I think in order to actually get people showing up for those, I'd have to already have a viewer base to build off of. I've been spending the longest time trying to figure out if I want to do fighting games or what sort of games I want to sort of build a presence with. Sorry I keep getting distracted. I'm very interested in the fighting game part of the conversation as well. In terms of getting better at fighting games, without enough real people to practice on, there's a limit to how good you can get, as eventually the measure of you being the best is how good you fight against other players. And you can't practice that if you don't have anyone to fight in the first place. I should do way more late night streams on the weekends. I find the just chatting streams are kind of underrated. You like the chill vibes there. And I look forward to doing that in the future, but you know, maybe I'll just bite the bullet and do that even if no one plans on showing up at a time. I do have a lot of conversations that I can have. Not necessarily that I need to restrict myself too much. Perhaps I might be exhausting myself with the streams by trying to play it too mathematically. If I were a bit more impulsive, it might be a lot easier to get something done. Spiked jungle slime, that's a new one. I remember you were playing the main character in Multi-Blood, right? Blaze Warrior? I forgot. Shiki, I think is his name. I haven't played... I don't think I've played Multi-Blood since the last of the Multi-Blood streams that have been on here. Although none of my friends are still playing the game either. I know one of them even dropped it just because Noelle lost her ability to be Seagull all the time. But I can't remember. Guilty Gear is my forte. Did you have a Guilty Gear character you were focusing on, Blaze Warrior? Uh-oh. Very spiky. Vid author, you confess you know very little about fighting games. Besides, there are many button combos here that are difficult for a vid to memorize. It's a lot less difficult than you might think of. Sort of like the process of learning how to sing a song, or play an instrument, or draw. Anyone who has practiced a particular skill should know it familiarly, that a lot of things which look daunting at first, this is a huge slime, a lot of things that are going to look difficult and daunting can actually be broken down into a lot of parts easily. Something I can demonstrate, possibly on one of the fighting game tutorial streams, is a lot of combos can be broken up into parts that you memorize here and there. There's a lot of things I'll end up doing with the Gold Lewis combos that mostly just lead into trying to do close slash 2H 486 into 2S and then 684. Mostly if you can Roman cancel, you can get that one started, and that one will mostly combo unless you've already had a very long combo going. In Strive and Street Fighter V, which I would recommend for someone trying to get into fighting games if you have any interest at all, there are characters that you can do very, very simple combos with. Both of those are incredibly inviting with their ability to let you do very, very simple combos. With the way that Strive has set up its button cancels, as opposed to older Guilty Gear games, you do not cancel every button into the next one. There's a very simple sequence of which buttons cancel into which. Punch cancels into punch, kick cancels into dust, slash cancels into heavy slash. In previous games, you always needed to remember punch into kick into slash into heavy slash into dust, and you could skip any order in that combination, which in retrospect is actually very easy. Very intuitive and even mashy to remember, but you do end up with longer sequences of buttons, essentially. Strive, I'd say there's very, very short combos you have to remember in perspective to other fighting games. There's also Street Fighter V having similarly short combos. I think most of them you get away with just 5 hits, basically. Friends say that it might be bipolar because he'd be angry because he get upset and don't understand a lot of things. Bipolar disorder is one of the most difficult things to diagnose, and I don't think I'm manic depressive myself. I think I'm just depressive. Surprise! Professor's not a very happy person. But I am getting better. Bipolar disorder is a very interesting one to diagnose, but if you find yourself fluctuating between being very excited for something and very depressed and then very angry, that might be a diagnosis. Luckily, bipolar is, once you have a better handle on it, one of the less difficult mental illnesses you can live with. And it does take some recognition and a little bit of therapy, but bipolar definitely isn't that bad. I've known a lot of people who have it. With a bit of training and proper therapy, it is something you can learn. You did mention you were going to therapy, Laze Warrior. Did you have a formal diagnosis yet? Or is that just speculation from your therapist? It takes a long time to get a proper diagnosis on someone. I've taken a lot of time trying to figure out my stuff, but With my mild knowledge of psychology, at least I had my interests with it in high school. And congrats to Xander. He actually got the 5 on the AP Psychology test instead, which is the maximum possible score. Compared to even with someone with the namesake of Turing, I am first and foremost always a programmer, and yet my computer science AP test back in high school, I only got a 4 on. So, I technically know more about, or knew previously, more about psychology than I did about my own special interest. It helped that my psychology teacher was very, very wonderful, and I do have some understanding of not being able to give a formal diagnosis, but being able to lead into a proper direction. I think I'm just depressed, but neurotypical otherwise. Mental trauma of just things in your life. It takes a long time with that, but a therapist, which I am not a qualified professional. A therapist really does help with that. Was that more of the nightmare stuff, I believe? There's gonna be bees. I can't be a therapist, but I can give some understanding and speculation about what ails you. But I do, and I will always say this, always the disclaimer. Get the diagnosis and better assistance from someone who has a formal degree and training in this field. Yeah, bipolar's a bitch. There's a really big dissonance between feeling incredibly inspired and then feeling horrible the next day or the next week, depending on when your moods fluctuate. I would argue, possibly, that sometimes your lows will feel worse if they follow highs. I will give a bit of a spoiler and perspective, or I suppose it's more introspective. The first Terraria stream I had was the single biggest stream I've ever had on this channel. 58 views to this day, and I think 7 subscribers just from that one video alone. The entire following month of November has been my slowest to date on YouTube. No one's been showing up. And I've only gained about 3 subscribers in that time, and I think a few of those were showing up from the VTuber tournaments. A vid author. The annoying thing with mental illness is figuring out how much can be helped with medication or therapy, or probably other things. It is one of the biggest mountains to climb. Absolutely. And I know a lot of us are having to deal with it. I will update you all on my progress as well. It helps having more of a perspective of someone who could help you. Someone else who's having a similar issue to go with. One of the biggest issues is even finding an accurate diagnosis for what your issue is. There's a lot of overlapping symptoms between different sorts of mental illnesses. So pinpointing what ails you is one of the biggest difficulties you can have. Feel like streamers do better on Twitch than on YouTube. That may be true, but I will confess that I like YouTube more than I like Twitch, along with the fact that I plan on doing more video-related content and not just doing streams. If I must confess, the culture around YouTube I like a lot more than the culture around Twitch, at least as it gets bigger. I find the larger, more popular Twitch streams, what with the emote spam, to be obnoxious and unconstructive, though I will say that the smaller streams that you can find on Twitch... The heck was that? The smaller streams you find on Twitch have very wonderful and constructive chats. Thank you very much for your attendance. You've had so many different diagnoses, it's not funny. I've mostly had to deal with, like, 3, I think. Oh, mother slime. And the tiny slimes. Ugly little popcorn babies. Mostly my curiosities in the past have been if it's ADHD I've had people try to diagnose me with autism in sort of a derogatory manner. Not that autism is bad, but the way they were trying to say that I'm autistic was, one, both blatantly incorrect, and two, blatantly insensitive. I think in the end I just have the whole gifted kid burnout and gifted kid depression. It hurts being a genius. I am getting better though. Streaming has really helped me with that. I've managed to make a lot of friends in this time. It is doing wonders for me, absolutely. Give me a follow on YouTube and Twitter, actually. To this date, I still care more about YouTube, but if I am going to be participating more in the VTuber FGC, it's probably going to be Twitch. And I have seen so many people who've just left YouTube for Twitch streaming. I haven't yet found the appeal, as I've had a lot more fun on YouTube myself. The stream delay is a lot better on Twitch, but I do have much more customizability on YouTube. Or so it feels. Also, I will need to do a little bit more research. It feels like Twitch has it set up where they expect you to do a weekly schedule. I'm not going to stream the same thing week after week. I'd like to have some creativity and some variety. Is that the only way you're going to recommend me? Abhorrent and disingenuous. League of Legends. Okay, I did say I don't like League of Legends. I will give Project L a look. I'm very interested. Especially given that it's probably going to be incredibly popular. I look to pick it up upon its release and play it after the League players have picked it up, learned they hated it, and don't know how to play it. Who was it? Was there a, oh, I can't remember the name. There was a very famous League of Legends player who played Strive upon release, and very quickly dropped it once they realized Zato, yes, the hardest character to learn in the game, was too difficult. I could learn Zato. There's a lot of variety streamers these days. I couldn't imagine being locked down to the same game over and over again. Especially when game design is one of my passions that I have so much to talk about. Blaze Warrior, you do have my promise. I will be playing Project L on its release. I can't promise that I might grow too much of an attachment to the characters. For the little bit of time I did play League of Legends, as per recommendation from my friends, knowing who I play in fighting games, I like to play very offensive powerhouse sort of characters. I did enjoy Sion. Sion was, out of the very few people I did play in League of Legends, and I think I've only played 5 games in my entire lifetime. Alright, think you'll get ready for bed and play a very pleasant voice in the background while you sleep. I'm not going to be doing that. Oh, well, we're about halfway through with the stream. I think it's going to be a very relaxed, very laid-back one here tonight. Professor himself is very tired. I'm not sure why I occasionally speak in the third person. I'm not going to hide it. There is the sort of ambiguous detachment between Xander obviously being a character I play, but sort of an avatar or proxy of myself. So there is a blurred line. How much of the performance is me and how much of the performance is Xander? After all, I'll drop you a hint. The voice you're hearing is not my real voice. Not even close. Where's that damn salamander? Sion was the character I did play in League of Legends, and I did have fun with that. I loved the whole being able to charge into battle. The ultimate was what kept me interested in him, just running straight at someone and being unstoppable for the moment. You will see that in fighting games I tend to play very aggressive powerhouse characters who try to close in as much distance as they can. While Gold Lewis isn't the best at it, that's his whole game plan. You sort of dictate the pace of the match just by being there, being so large and intimidating. League of Legends, I say, I do not play solely because of the community. There's a lot of stuff for me to be learning at this point. Oh, do you put on a different affectation or use a voice changer? There's no voice changer, it is only a It is only a measure of voice acting. I speak mostly from the back and more towards the top of my throat. A perspective on my regular voice, which I cannot and will elect not to demonstrate. My real voice in comparison would be deeper, have much less cadence to it. It sounds, It does similarly sound aloof. Not sure how I can describe it. The voice I speak with normally, at least on streams, is from the back of my throat, which is why you will hear a little bit of a fry or rasp in certain amounts of my vowels. The very little bit of raspy graveliness to my voice, which I don't normally speak with. The other part is the cadence that I speak with. It is a sort of feminine cadence. The highs of my voice and the lows of my voice tend to fluctuate, at least as I speak, and that is intentional. That is entirely intentional. Not on accident, it is something I've practiced explicitly to do. Gives a much more musical, soothing, and interesting to listen to sort of sound to my voice. I suppose while I've been here, the man-eaters have been spawning. Let's go ahead and farm some stuff from them. You will notice that as I speak, my pitch tends to change quite a bit from higher and lower, and most importantly, and this is the very specific part to the sort of professor bit I play out, the pitch you hear in my voice will tend to drop downwards at the end of my sentences. Sort of follows a sine wave going up and down in pitch as I speak, but as I make my point, I will drop my pitch, which sort of has the opposite connotation of a question. Error! Welcome. So glad to see you. My actual voice would be coming more from the front or center of my throat, and will generally be in lower pitch. This voice is actually much on the higher end of the register I can do. I can't go much higher than this without my voice cracking abhorrently. So my natural voice is going to be deeper. It's going to fluctuate in pitch a lot less. It will sort of generally sound... it's the vocal equivalent of resting bitch face. It doesn't sound angry, but it does sound bored. Not uninterested, but sort of... What's the word I'm looking for? It is very recognizable. And, according to a number of people who have heard me, equally pleasant to listen to. Although, I have shown my own mother my streams, and she was fooled at first. So, it is different enough that if you listened for it specifically, and you knew it was my voice that was speaking, you'd be able to hear the difference between Xander, the performance, and Xander, the actual man behind the performance. And the differences in her voice. But they are very distinct voices to listen to. The reason why I put on the voice acting is, one, to make me more interesting to listen to, although I have heard that I am very pleasant to listen to regardless, and occasionally, I have heard my voice through a number of friends' microphones, and I know a lot of people have hang-ups about hearing their own voice, and to this date I still have hang-ups about hearing the Xander voice, which is why I seldomly go back and listen to my own streams. It has made me very uncomfortable to hear myself. Although, hearing my own voice speaking through other friends' mics, my natural voice, I've actually grown a liking to that one. Who knows, perhaps after a long perspective, maybe if I have a lot of viewers one of these days, a lot of people in a stream, I might do a bit of a stream being more honest and direct, using the natural voice of the man behind the performance here. Come on. So yes, the entirety of my performance here is voice acting. There's no voice changer whatsoever. Just a very good microphone. Another thing is, I do monitor myself. I have my headphones always plugged in directly into my microphone, so it gives a live and immediate feedback into my own ears. My voice is playing through my headphones. So I always have a very good way to monitor how I'm sounding. I am wasting time here because I cannot yet figure out how I'm supposed to dig further downward. Suppose we'll start going horizontally from there. I did pick up a glow stick. Let's just chuck that back in the water. We don't need that platinum ore. Let's swap that out for the rope here. Voice acting is something I always have had interest in. I know everyone remembers those... Oh, we are running out of oxygen. I know everyone remembers those days in high school where you would, or at least I don't know if anyone else had these experiences, English class or literature class where you're supposed to read aloud to the rest of the other students whatever little passages of the book or novel that you do. And that was always my favorite part. It's something a lot of folks recognize me for. I do have an interest in theater, and I do have some history in theater, which is where I get some of my interest in the whole streaming and VTubing thing from. I'm not streaming directly as myself, I'm streaming as a character, as I think it spices up the experience a lot more. It's gonna be difficult figuring out my way past that, man-eater. Oh, he do be eating men, though. But something just about everyone recognized me for, and might have even mocked me for previously, was how much love and passion I put into reading those passages. When it came my turn to read aloud from the book, you know, as just the usual check to make sure everyone's listening, because if you get called on to read your passage and you weren't paying attention, everyone would immediately know. You get nervous talking in front of people. I do too. I always have a case of stage fright, as much as it might not look like it. And even during all my theater days, I only did, I think, 3 performances. 3 performances during high school. I've not had any formal theater training or formal classes outside of my time doing it in high school. And I definitely never focused on it in college. So let me get this straight. On flat ground, a boulder immediately starts rolling towards me, violently with enough force to squish me. I'm going to need to take a moment to think about that one. I saw it there, you know? I knew it was going to fall. I thought it would, you know, make more sense and not be so malevolent as to immediately roll towards me with murderous intent. Well, Xander is no longer a pro Terraria gamer. They are very murderous rocks. Boulders with very murderous intent. Note, boulder is a verb in this context. You have a lot of health. Oh, Pinky. That's a unique and special one, I take it. These bullets pierce through them, I believe, so why not just let them build up? It would be nice to get a little bit of grinding done on these slimes. Oh, wow. This is an excellent way to get some money early on. Let's go ahead and hide ourselves in one of these doors real quick. Let that just pile up. Yeah, I'm going to take a moment to sit here and think about what I've done in regards to such murderous boulders. Cacti are simultaneously murderous. Really? Is that why they were not dug out of their little sand blocks over there? I noticed in our trip to the desert there were still a few cacti that were just sitting on stray grass blocks. I learn something about this game every single day I stream it. I'll sit here and let the slimes pile up. What was I talking about? A passion for theater and voice acting. Though I don't think I have any more to elaborate on that subject. English class in which everyone starts reading their little passages one after another, everyone strongly anticipates, or at least the more supportive of my groups, would enthusiastically be excited for when it was my time to read, because I always put a bit more inflection in my voice. Whereas in contrast, a lot of other people would just be incredibly bored and not change their tone or inflection whatsoever, just being very bored reading their passages, and it's just fundamentally uninteresting to listen to. Me, however, although I never did use this voice, the Xander voice you're hearing now is a very new perspective for me. It is not something I have done before I tried to do the VTubing thing here. This is a voice invented purely for this character, this performance. This is a bad idea. This is a very bad idea. Is everyone doing good? I am doing wonderfully myself, Error. I will let everyone speak for themselves. Wonder. It's probably harder for them to show up and infiltrate from over here. I will see if I can make a door real quick. Jungle campfire. Interesting. Very interesting. You like reading, but some people think you sound boring. It can depend on the inflection you give, and without the formal training for it, it is a little difficult to get some sort of good voice acting done. Thankfully, I have a very wonderful teacher who has helped me with this. Although I haven't done much in that regard recently. I should practice my singing, which apparently is okay even for the bits of it that is untrained. I definitely look forward to doing song covers in the future, but I mean, I've already mentioned it on the stream. Zandy's depressed, so I haven't really felt up to snuff doing a lot more of the performative parts. Although having the consistent schedule of getting stuff done has definitely boosted my willpower. I am very open to doing more expressive things as time goes on, and in fact, you will notice that November, even though it has been a very not unproductive. Even though it has not been a bountiful month on YouTube, I did start participating in the VFGC basically this month with the Strive tourneys, the one accent core tourney, and speaking to a few other of the VFGC members trying to play Halo Infinite. I think it might be a bit too late for me to start trying to practice for the formal Halo Infinite multiplayer stuff. I will focus instead on the single player bits of that. That's right. I do need to take a bit of perspective and make sure I do not forget Halo Infinite's campaign release date, which should be next week, right? Wednesday, I believe. You know I'm going to be doing it release day. Determination. Determination indeed. Trying my best not to fall into a slop of various degraded pixels myself. I think that's a perspective I can be honest with, as we have a very small and dedicated class that shows up to these streams, and I figure I can be honest with it. I can read the room a little empathically, so I can understand that it's something relatable to a number of my viewers. I'm not going to try to hide it. It's one of the reasons I started on it, was because I wanted to try to be able to fix my own problems and be able to teach people how to fix theirs. I keep talking about how I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff for the channel, but it's gonna take a while. Wonder if I'll manage to kill enough slimes in time for the summoning. I know about the king slime, I think is what it's called. Didn't we have one last time? I know you have to kill a lot of them in a short amount of time to trigger the big boy himself making his arrival. Another thing is, and I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to unlist or private a lot of these streams once I make a formal debut. Once I hit a big milestone in which I have a lot of improvement and perspective, I think I might want to leave this chapter behind a little bit. Just as a bit of closure. I mean, I've just told you I'm not in the best of headspaces lately. Or really, since even before I started streaming. Once I can handle things a little bit better, I think I might want to leave a bad chapter of my life behind. So, even if I talk about some sensitive topics now, I will make them harder or impossible to find in the future. As I don't think anyone's clipped Xander yet, no one's notified me or asked me otherwise. Suppose if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. Oh, but there are a few legendary streams I will miss. Control, I think, was handled actually very, very well. Control was one of my favorites. There was one of the Oblivion streams way back towards the beginning, which I was firing on all cylinders. Hilarious quips left and right, and I heard from everyone who attended, here we go. I heard from everyone who attended that they were just laughing like a riot the entire time. Let me guess, I'm not gonna shake him very easily. He's going to pursue me relentlessly. Get past all the purple boys. I don't have a door out of here. Ah, he teleports to you. Well then. Luckily he's already halfway there. Halfway there. Halfway there. I should work on my other impressions. Among my various passions for voice acting, I think I might want to focus on impressions sometime soon. Yes, we can't get away from this fellow very far, can we? He'll just teleport right after us. Too bad he's not strong enough. Now what do we have here? A solidifier. You say slime has stopped falling from the sky, but I still see little droplets. Oh, wait! That's where we get the slime hook, huh? Active stone block. Is that for the electromechanical wiring stuff? I'd imagine. Ah, we do have slime banners put up. Let's go ahead and do a few more. Just to get that out of my inventory. Now we'll go pick up the other items there. Oh, but I do love that space gun. Right. That was it. That was the hook button. I'll set this right here before I figure out what to do with it. And let's go pick up that slime hook. Do I need all three, or can I just do it thrice with one? Let's find out. Solidifier is crucial to the... Ah! We can just do 3. Excellent. The solidifier is crucial to the inevitable creation of Candyland. I believe you're talking about the Hollow, right? That's something obviously that is famous enough for me to recognize. I know about a number of the late game mechanics. I was actually very intrigued with the mechanics of once you get to hard mode and the corruption or crimson and the hollows start spreading everywhere. Very curious how that's supposed to turn out. I have not taken a drink this entire stream. Let's fix that. No, sir. No need to redeem hydrates myself. I am paying attention. Let's see. Blue team block, blue team platform, fake unicorn horn, zebra skin, katana, fancy dishes, Dynasty wood, red Dynasty shingles, blue Dynasty shingles, and a celestial magnet. Would someone with more knowledge of this game please inform me if any of those are a good purchase to be made? I will go put up some of my other things first. What's on the schedule for next week? No, you mean Oh. Cotton Candyland, the base that you will create as soon as you get your hands on the necessary stuffs. Well, that's going to be much more welcoming than Hollow, I'm sure. I look forward to it. Magnet is good, but we cannot yet afford it. Hence, it being so expensive. I imagine it's important. We'll do some more things once we figure out what we're doing with them. So Stinger is not bones. I think we needed thorns, right? Why did we die? That's right! We got bouldered. Just like an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Take a swig. Throat might be hurting because I've been having a lot of alcohol lately as well. It is the holidays, one of the best times for drinking. Though I might need to dial it back a bit. I think it started to hurt my throat, as I've generally been speaking more on average due to the fact that I started streaming. Let's go see what we can pick up from where we died. Hopefully we didn't lose too much to that boulder. Ah, we cannot stand on those lily pads. Disappointing. Yeah, I think I'll do that one these days as a celebratory milestone should I ever get a large number of viewers or subscribers, Twitch followers, so on and so forth. Eventually do a just chatting stream, not as Xander, but as the person playing Xander. Although I would like to keep my face and actual name, location, all that stuff still secret. The reason I'm VTubing specifically is to keep my bit of an anonymity. I'm not in it for the fame, I was in it to do some self-improvement and networking. I've also been thinking about posting stuff on TikTok soon, maybe making an account there. And among my other various shenanigans, might as well just spend an afternoon trying to come up with whatever little skits for me to talk or blabber on about, and post those to all the social medias. Easy content farm. Get up a good few weeks of content in an afternoon and then release it slowly. If there's anyone who knows how to exploit an algorithm, it's going to be the programmer, right? It's also generally much easier to prepare a large amount of content in bulk, as opposed to doing it on a regular schedule. Another reason why there might be much more successful opportunities to be found in doing fewer higher quality streams, or even fewer streams at all. Might be better for me to have some more time off streams so that I can prepare other little compilations or networking, so on and so forth. As one of the best ways for me to meet people, well, meeting other VTubers and streamers, I gotta go into their chats and participate, shouldn't I? I've been doing that a lot over the past few weeks, talking to my fellow fighting game VTubers. I've made some wonderful friends, and yesterday was a very, very fun stream for me. I did get to see a lot of folk that I had been previously practicing against. And given that the people who won that Strive tournament were people that I could take sets off of, I think with a bit more proper practice, Xandy can score himself a little first place prize sometime. Granted, there's no prize. The prize is being able to brag about it. A proper bit of training and practice, and I could find myself among the ranks of the elite of the elite. Fighting games will always be my #1 passion. Right, that's where we died. Drain the lake out of here, please. No, you get out of here. Bats don't swim. Guide me, little buzzing friend. Well, I can't exactly get that easily down there, can I? Oh, wait. I have science. Hopefully that doesn't hit the ferry. Good. He's invincible. Darn, that would have been an absolutely hilarious joke to clip. Wow, all that water drained out, so there must be a lot of cave space down there. I'm coming. Let me find my way there. Ooh, amethyst geodes, huh? When I become a big shot, I don't forget. You know, essentially, the rise in fame for streamers is mostly exponential. At some point, you strike it big and start getting a lot of stuff happening. Wow, you are the ugliest sounding creature I've heard in a long time. With the exponential growth that comes with being a famous streamer, essentially, I'm going to be spending less and less time with specific people as time goes on. So, for those of you who have stuck with me through thick and thin, through all of my much smaller, less popular streams, I do have a lot more time to have spent talking to you specifically. And for the folks of you, James, or those of you who have given me fan art, James, this was a point I discussed yesterday, but I know you don't show up for the Guilty Gear streams. Quoting a tweet from Ramola Deb, who is one of the most famous fighting game VTubers, if not the most famous fighting game VTuber. One remark she made on a tweet yesterday is, no tourney win can compare to the amount of joy you get from receiving fan art of your VTuber. While I have yet to experience winning a tournament, I will definitely say that it's an indescribable cathartic feeling to receive fan art from both of you. And from anyone else who'd be watching, even if you are not someone who has produced fan art of me. The conversations that we've essentially had over a much longer extended period of time. I do believe it would be impossible for me to forget the people who I've spent so much time with on what would otherwise be very, very lonely evenings. Even if I tried, I don't think I could forget any of you. No matter how big of a shot I become. Oh, that was difficult. I'm not doing that again. Well, probably the most difficult thing to try to do during those... What the... Luckily, just about everything is still vulnerable to bullets, at least while you're moving. Ha! Take that, idiot. Oh, there's more of them. I already forgot where I was. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, that was probably the most difficult part of the Deltarune streams, and one thing I destroyed myself with was trying to switch voices too much. Once you get into a voice, it's not particularly difficult, but it is a bit of a strain to constantly switch between trying to do the regular speaking voices and all the different little things that come in between with Spamton's different voice changes during a speech. Everything found within the brackets, I would try to do a slightly different voice for. Then something comparable to, like, an obnoxious radio host is what I was going for. Spamton. The voice of someone who's clearly trying too hard. Which, let's be honest, Spamton's trying way too hard. Ooh. We finally have something productive off this stream now, don't we? Finally. Bada bing, bada boom. Good, I've had a chance to improve myself without finding something that someone else has gotten to first. Deltarune was so incredibly fun, and I formally apologize. I know Deltarune and Undertale is one of your favorites, absolute favorites, Air. But I will hold off on doing Undertale until I am drawing a much larger audience. Some of my potentially best content, at least the stuff that is not immediately recyclable, such as the fighting games I can basically do over and over again to the end of time, as they always have a different experience to offer every time I play them. The more story-focused stuff, such as Psychonauts, or Control, or Deltarune, Undertale, all that stuff, one and done. I mean, sure, I can do another playthrough with a slightly different perspective, but the joy of playing that through the first time, or at least having that first experience with your viewers, is going to be the best one. And feeling my genuine reactions to a lot of the stuff going on is something I can't really farm over and over now, is it? So for Undertale, with all of its magnificent stuff going on, I will hold off on that for a long time. Don't think I have a minecart on me. There we go. I've been playing this game too long. I'm starting to hate the music less. Although maybe I'm just not paying enough attention to it. Seems there's still more stuff down here to find. Get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. Problem solved. I might pick up Minecraft soon, given how popular Terraria has been. Maybe Minecraft will get a few viewers. I know that's always got people searching for it. And I would like to do some Halo Infinite stuff. For the past few days, Halo Infinite has had roughly 50k viewers on average on Twitch. Guilty Gear Strive, which I still consider my best content, only has about 500 on average. On a good day, there's going to be more people looking at it, though. I hope one of these days I may have the influence to be able to make an entire game popular by giving it more views just by my stream alone than it would be having otherwise with the sum of all other viewers combined. I know a number of the Hololive folk will tend to make games have a lot of people suddenly watching them that would otherwise be obscure. Heck, the amount of people watching an average Hololive stream will be more than, I'd say, everyone looking for a fighting game stream at once, right? It pains me. Fighting games are so wonderful, but they have far less popularity than they deserve. I will keep shilling fighting games until the end of time. Only the heat death of the universe will stop me. Cloud in a bottle! I remember that was one of my previous favorite items. Now we essentially have a triple jump, correct? It's different than the cloud in a bottle I remember. I remember having one a long time ago on possibly a previous version of Terraria. That one gave me... No, it was a sandstorm in the bottle, that's right. That was the item I had. You prefer the Blizzard sandstorm bottles. Exactly. And that's what I had previously. Is there a way for me to safely secure that? There we go. Iron, somewhat less useful for us. Yeah, the sandstorm in the bottle is what I remember having. A little spinning as you slowly hover up into the air. Now that I think about it, while we are talking about popular games, I think it's been, or what, roughly a month since our last Noida stream? I really didn't want to drop it, and in fact I do want to keep playing it. But Control has recently taken the position of unpopular game I am incredibly passionate about for the time being. If I do start getting a regular viewership of about 10 people or so, I do want to do Noida again. Noida was an absolute favorite of mine. But I think it's a good chance to take a break since we did essentially get our first win. There were a lot of other times we could have scored one earlier, but that was the first I'd say that we did while we had a responsible amount of progress under our belt. And New Game Plus will have so many new things for us. Although, if I remember, we did make ourselves blatantly overpowered, right? Wish more people were playing Rain World. It came out like 3 years ago, and it looks like it was something that you only play through once. Doesn't look like it's roguelike, is it? If it generates a different map with every game, you do have much more interest from me. As that is a difficult game, I just don't think I've gotten into the habit of playing it properly yet. Oh, and that is scheduled for tomorrow. So, I will be taking another crack at it. Might take me a bit of time to get accustomed to it. The controls are super weird. But I do see potential in it. After all, I do love me a difficult game. Although I prefer games that are intuitively to control and difficult. I've never been interested in games that basically get by off of being difficult to control. Or maybe I haven't gotten into the habit of Rain World just yet. The 3 difficulties, as you assumed, actually changed more than just the difficulty. Ah! They changed the map layout as well. Well, I might give it more of a look if I discover more stuff, but in comparison to other games, I will confess, Noida, I spoiled myself on a lot of the mechanics, as that game is incredibly merciless. So trying to figure out how to play that game properly is... oh boy, is it such a steep hill to get over. So, my playthrough of Noida, along with the fact that I played so much of it off of the stream, was not very blind at all. Rain World I didn't even hear of at all before you mentioned it on that one stream. Or I think it was first off in a vote. Didn't like Rain World. It is difficult to come up with some commentary on it while we're playing. I do have that truth, but I think it's something we can get into a habit of. Gotta get into the groove. I will give it a few more times, but out of the games that I have played so far on this channel, that is probably the first I've had a second guess about continuing to play. Control was outstanding, and in fact, I'd mark it up as one of my favorites up there with Guilty Gear and Noida. Should I ever become popular post-debut, I would love to play it again. And the second time around, rush through it a lot less. I will have so much more to comment on the second time. Rain World will take some getting used to, but after all, no one learned how to play a fighting game properly in a day, right? Unless it's Smash Bros. Oh, wait, I'm talking about fighting games, and Smash Brothers is not a fighting game. If Broham's still in the chat, he's going to give me a very stern talking to later. One of my favorite memes. One of the biggest things I was looking forward to was working on that Rivals of Aether project. But that's going to be a very, very big undertaking, and with me filling up my schedule with so many other things, I'm not sure when I'll actually be able to get down to it. Doing the art streams in preparation for that was incredibly fun. I might have to hold back on the video games just a little bit. Smash is a party game, you know, because you don't like fighting games. I appreciate your agreement with the concept. Alright, now I need to decide what exactly I'm taking with me. Gravitation potion. Teleportation potion. Platinum bar. Extractinator. I think there's a number of smaller things in here we can definitely get rid of. Did you read about what I said about playing Undertale? Oh, I did miss that part. I was partly occupied talking about clouds in a bottle. I think I was going off on a different tangent. Thank you for reminding me. It's fine because when the time comes for me to play Undertale, Era's art will be better, so you can finally make a good fan art for me. You may have your own perspectives, but regardless of your own perception of the quality of fan art you've provided me so far, it absolutely warms my heart, the stuff that you made so far. But I do look forward to seeing it rise in quality. The stuff I've seen from you shows great promise, and that's not me blowing sunshine up your skirt. I've been able to tell from the stuff that you've made that I've seen so far that it has passion behind it, which is the most important part. If you want to be good at something, you have to love it. Well, I look forward to it. Perhaps even a thumbnail or some other promotion to be made. No, you can't make me like this music. Ooh, another one. That puts us at 200. Doesn't that prove to be a problem? I think I heard something about 200 health being a bit of an issue. I was talking with Leviathan. Alright, what can we temporarily drop? Alright, get away from me. Come on, I'm waiting. So, with my love for... Oh wait, I already know the answer to this question. With my love... I'll ask it anyway. With my love for Spampton, I do feel sort of a resonance with his character. That was one of the reasons I loved him so much, is... I feel like I can relate to him. Living in a goddamn garbage can? But, who do you think is my favorite Undertale character? It's a very easy answer. The single most obvious one, which... Well, if you get it wrong, it just means you don't know me well enough yet. God, I look forward to that so much. I genuinely have not actually played the Genocide route in Undertale yet. So, I will inevitably go through Undertale twice. Once with the regular route and then with the Genocide route. So I don't have any training on how to properly fight Sans yet. I gotta make room in these pockets. The game gives you so much to hoard, and not enough pockets to put them all in. 200 health. Excellent. Alphys. Darn, I red herringed it a bit too much. Alphys, I think Alphys is my second favorite. Sorry, Mettaton is actually my favorite character in Undertale. I might... No. I'm gonna have to go with that as the solid answer. Mettaton's my absolute favorite. Alphys is my second favorite, but for me loving the scientist archetype so much, I do get a lot of entertainment out of the bombastic, exaggerated performance types. An absolute favorite of mine. I mean, hello, I'm a streamer. Obviously, I have a very big ego. And relate to characters accordingly who paste their face on everything they can. Let's go ahead and use that mirror. Let's head back. Very close answer, indeed. Also, Mettaton's a robot, and I like robots. What a lovely little ring tonight. This is basically my house since I don't know if anyone else is putting stuff in here. Do we have a... There we go. I don't think we'll need that. And I'll just irresponsibly put a lot of stuff in here. So do tell me, is there a slot for the compass, or does it just give you bonus stats while it's there in your inventory? Or do you have to equip it somewhere? Now, can I tell who is your favorite character? From the conversations we've had before, my first guess is Sans, obviously. I have seen a number of your works that were dealing with alternate universes for him. Otherwise, my second guess would be sort of the proxy of Chara, as sort of the murderous depiction of the player character. who, while I don't pay much attention to the Undertale AUs, I know Frisk gets a lot more characterization, as there's room to reinterpret their character. James, you like the cute characters. Papyrus, Timmy, Shyren, Vulcan, Blookie. Indeed. Who is my favorite of the enemies? I might need to think about that one. I did like, what was his name? The flexing horse guy, just because of how exaggerated his character was. But I did also like Cinder Plane for basically being a Toho reference, and you know how much I love you know how much I love Toho. Which, if none of you know what Toho is, I need to fix that. I really should start streaming Toho-related games, although the better fan games I might save for later. I might start trying to get an audience off of just playing the shooters. Right, the platformer is getting an English translation sometime soon. Maybe I'll do that. Also, info accessories worked without being equipped, but they did... but they do have the little bonus effects down here, like the critical strike chance. Does that apply if they're equipped somewhere? Well, if my guesses are incorrect, then, Error, please do tell me what your favorite character is. I'll take another swig. Ah. We are almost reaching the end of our stream yet. Now, I think I will just comfortably do a little bit more searching here. We're not going to go back down into the underground immediately. We do have enough gold to buy one of those, arcane compasses, or whatever it was called. Right, I'm gonna need to remember my different jumps. No merchants here. That was completely correct. Ha! Sans? Sans as the first guess? Sans is very lovable. I love Sans. He's a very good boy. I think I'll make that important of a decision with spending that much money at another time. Since 15 gold is a lot for someone who's this far back. Discover a large bee's hive deep in the jungle. We'll do that another time. Actually, we have a very good amount of time to just go for exploring a little bit more. It shouldn't take us too long to get a little bit more digging done. Ah. Your internet is dying. We're not gonna have a stream for very much longer either. I was gonna keep this one short, since Professor's feeling a little tired today. So I was going to be winding it down in about 10 minutes or so. I think we can make one more quick trip back to the jungle. And then Professor's gonna go to bed. This has been a very soothing stream for me. Very relaxing, small, and calm. We no longer have a graveyard biome here, right? Yes, we did extract all of them. Seems there's a little bit of meteorite left, though. And a cave underneath. We might explore that sometime. Although I think James already made quick work of the area. I know James was most attached to the meteorite. I'm back. Welcome back, Era. I don't know if you heard any of my conversation in the median there. I was saying that we are winding down the stream and it's not going to be going on too much longer. Yeah, that's literally what you missed, was just me saying, hey, I'm relaxing it soon. But we can go ahead and see if we can take a little peek back in that jungle again. Oh, missed it. We could use the star cannon later. Know about the new Terraria update, the crossover with Don't Starve Together. I'm afraid that is complete news to me. Do tell me about it. I absolutely love indie game crossovers. In fact, there was actually an update to Dead Cells lately that was focusing on that. And I do want to play that, but I don't think I'm going to stream it. Dead Cells never really gets anyone looking for it. Although once the new expansion comes out, I will definitely stream it again. Dead Cells, I'd say, has the biggest ratio of me wanting to play it versus who comes to watch it. Basically, no one arrives for Dead Cells, and I don't think Dead Cells has ever scored a new subscriber whatsoever. Or even a new viewer, hardly. To date, it's still my favorite game of all time. And if I'm ever famous enough to have a large supply of regulars to draw from, I will quarter everyone locked in the classroom and force them to watch me beat 5BC over and over again. New special seed, new items, new boss, new mechanics. New content is wonderful, both for the game and for me, as new things show up. Well, I might get new viewers. More of these granite golems. Not very rewarding to get rid of. And equally easy to avoid. Now, we were last in some of the regions of this cave. I don't think that was anything important dropped there. Is the special attack the sand special attack of doing nothing? Or are you going to turn me blue? Ooh, you know what would be fun? And a special little bit of self-promotion. Unitel, I think it was called. That was the Undertale boss battle stuff done in Unity. With my ability to rapidly figure out myself into any sort of game mechanics and programming to be done with it, a custom Undertale-styled Xander boss battle would be very interesting for a little bit of self-promotion. I did want to do that with Rivals of Aether, but I feel like that's going to be a much bigger bite than what I can chew for now. I want to make an entire character in Rivals of Aether. We've returned to the desert, haven't we? I believe this is Desert Underground, isn't it? I'm going to head my way back. Ooh. Let me see, and let me shoot. I see you there. Special Seed the Constant has special terrain generation, increases the drop rate of crossover items, has a new starvation darkness mechanic, and a special shader. Well, I will keep in the loop with that, at least in regards to figuring out when streams come out. So I will be trying to do that on its release day. unless it coincides with another important release. Siphon, welcome. We were just winding down the stream, unfortunately. But I am happy to see you make your appearance anytime. How has your Saturday been, Siphon? Looks like we got a few more holes to dig down here, but we were mostly going horizontal. Looks like we were ending up in the desert area here instead. Oh, the update released a while ago. Define a while. I was thinking it was something that was coming up. After all, I hadn't even heard anything about it. But then again, I don't follow Terraria that much. Not good, but it's getting better. I hope it will get better. We are, unusually, running a stream tomorrow on Sunday for Rain World once more, so we do have an opportunity to meet again if you would like to converse. That's good enough. I'll figure out what those little devices do. I'm looking very forward up to November 24th, so it was a few days ago. Well then. Too late to ride that hype train. I suppose if anyone was looking for it, they'd find it here in the Terraria stream. Oh well. The last couple of weeks I've wanted to focus more on the VFGC stuff, and even though it has been a relatively unsuccessful month for November, I've enjoyed myself during it a lot more. I think that's a good stopping point for us for now. Xander is a very, very tired professor, so I'll be going to bed rapidly very, very soon once I turn the stream off. I'll go ahead and update my Twitch page a little bit to get the Discord link on there. Possibly, over the course of this week, I would like to get a few more updates going on in the Discord server. One of the most important things is I want to make a formal role to actually ping people when streams are starting, and not just do the scummy thing of bring up the @everyone every single time. That's why I have the bot in there, although I need to look at the manual, and Xander doesn't look at the manual very often. Need to figure out how to manipulate that bot and let everyone assign themselves roles for, possibly, any streams, or if it's for specific games whatsoever, and I will make the accommodations accordingly. Tomorrow is Rain World. I'm not sure about doing a very big stream for that either, just since it's been a very dense week so far, prepping for an entire tourney and having so many games earlier. Looks like this next week we are going to definitely have a control stream for all the DLC coming up, and the rest of it. The 8th is coming up, and I do believe that is the release of Halo, so it might mostly be a Halo-oriented week, with the Infinite campaign coming out. I want to focus more on fighting games in general, so there might be another Strive stream on the weekend. And I would like to get back into Multi-Blood. There's so much to focus on. We'll play it by ear, figure it out as we go along. I do have an associate of mine who says they will be a lot more open after the 9th, so I will try to see if I can score some sort of collaboration with them sometime soon. It's been a very wonderful night talking. I do love these streams where there's a lot of conversation to get done. I look forward to it, and it's very heartwarming to participate in. Good night, Era. It was very fun, and I hope you have a wonderful day too. Good night or good morning for wherever you happen to be placed on the globe. Class is formally dismissed. Zandy's going to be going to bed real soon. But thank you all so much for your attendance. Good night. And good day. Good morning. Good evening. So on and so forth. Bye, Siphon. Thank you for showing up. Sorry that happened to be at such a late time. I'd love to stream longer, but it has been a very, very sleepy day for Professor.